Hey there, Kirill. Let's take a look at your new set of essays. All right, so let's see. Okay, this is about companies moving to regional locations. So let's see what you wrote there. Over the last few decades, various government administrations and politicians have I can't speak, sorry, have suggested pushing companies outside large cities. This essay will analyze both issues using examples from the UK government and Harvard University to demonstrate points, prove arguments. Okay, so let's look at that one more time. Now, first of all, the issue you give us here is one issue, pushing companies outside large cities. Then you tell us that you're going to analyze both issues. But you didn't present two issues, you only presented one. So then you can't say both issues. Then there is a very specific command here. It's asking you, what are the benefits and drawbacks of this? So it's important to mention that there are benefits and drawbacks of moving companies to these new locations. Okay, so you have to address that as well. So quite frankly, for me, this just feels like it kind of feels like a memorized response. I mean, if I had gotten this in an exam situation, I would have thought, all right, well, you know, like especially here, this is a memorized response and you haven't really adapted it to the question. Okay, so remember how important your introduction is because it's really setting the stage. It's giving the examiner a first impression of your writing. So make sure it's a strong impression. Let's move on. On the one hand, there is ample evidence that pushing companies to regional locations has some drawbacks. The central reason behind this is twofold. Firstly, it is not always cost-effective to build a working environment from scratch in a rural location. Those are two great sentences. Nice vocabulary, good grammar, lovely. Secondly, most of the staff have to move with companies and therefore employers should provide accommodation. Singular would have been better. Accommodation for them and their families. For example, recent empirical research by the UK government demonstrated that over 70% of office workers deny offers from their employees to move from cities to rural areas because they did not want to leave their flats. Why? Because we don't use contractions in task 2. Also, due to local experiments in the state of Georgia, many employers experience a lack of financial support from authorities to build the environment needed while they have been forced to move from cities and settle in rural areas. Okay. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that pushing companies to regional locations has its disadvantages. Lovely. That's good. This is a well-constructed paragraph. Despite the aforementioned problems, there are some benefits of the situation. This is largely because the government should not only develop and support large cities, but regional areas too. For example, an extensive study by Harvard University showed that when large companies such as General Motors had been pushed to move out from the city of Detroit, the number of vehicles on the roads dropped by 30%, and there was a 50% improvement in air quality. Nice. It must not be forgotten that many people who live in rural areas outside of the city of Detroit got jobs in these companies. Thus, it is possible to state beyond doubt that pushing some companies to the regional locations has its advantages. Okay. I maybe would have wanted one more sentence here. So great, people got jobs. So, okay, what's the point? So you could say that this reduced unemployment. So just to add the little extra sentence, no matter how self-explanatory you think it is, explain it, that this is important because previously these people suffered from unemployment. Something like that. Okay. From the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that pushing some companies outside large cities is a positive experience. It's a positive development. It's not really an experience. The experience itself is not positive, but what results is positive. So I guess a positive development would be good. In the future, it is predicted that more companies will be forced to work in rural areas. Okay, this is fine. Kirill, I'm actually rather pleased with this. I thought you did a good job overall. I thought it read really easily. I thought it flowed. I thought you used the template very, very well. There were very few things that I had to comment about, as you saw. For me, this was your issue here. And this really did you a disservice because the rest of your essay was actually really, really strong. But this this gave a negative first impression because of the reasons that I mentioned at the beginning. So just be a little more cautious with your introduction. The rest of the essay was done very, very well. So nice job there. All right, let's take a look at your letter to the relative. Dear Ben, I'm glad to hear about your upcoming visit to my town. As you arrive on Friday afternoon, what happened here? I won't be able to meet you at the airport. So you have to get to my house on your own. I'm going to leave the key in the post box outside my front door so you can easily find it. The best way to get from the airport to my place is to take bus number 45. It will take you about half an hour to reach my house. Remember to get off on Worthington Street. Then, a quick comma here. Then, across the road on the left, you'll see my 2-floor house with a black glass door right in the middle. The address is 75 Worthington Street. Please get comfortable and feel free to use everything inside the house. Around 6 p.m., I'm going to pick you up for dinner. There is my favorite Mexican restaurant just about 5 minutes away. Let me know if you're okay with it. I can't wait to see you soon, buddy. I've already made a sightseeing plan for us on weekends as there are so many places to visit. Okay, and then cheers. All right, let's talk about this a little bit. You were supposed to explain how to get the keys to enter your place. You did that. You gave directions from the airport to your house. That's fine. Suggestions on your evening plans when you arrive. Now, think about that. The key word here is suggestions. So, what did you say instead? I'm going to pick you up for dinner. There is my favorite Mexican restaurant about 5 minutes away. So, that's not really a suggestion. That's a plan. Okay? And so, I want you to take this bullet very, very literally when they tell you suggestion. So, you needed to rephrase this, okay? And look at that. It also says suggestions, plural. So what that means is that you're not supposed to just say, look, this is what I'm thinking we could do. Instead, you're supposed to give some options here, okay? So you could have said instead, around 6 p.m., I will return from the office. We could do X or we could do Y. What do you prefer? Both are wonderful, both are great, both are, whatever. Okay, so that is important here, and this is why we underline the key words. Suggestion is the key word. So they're checking to make sure that you understand the language of suggestion. Okay, and then this was a little awkward just grammatically for me here. Around 6 p.m., I'm going to pick you up for dinner. My favorite Mexican restaurant is just about 5 minutes away. Let me know if you're okay with it, with a full stop, not a question mark. Okay, so that was a little awkward as well. However, the rest of it was very good. I have to tell you the truth, I also don't love the fact that you just ended with cheers. I wanted something that was just a little more appropriate for an informal letter. Just, like lots of love, lots of kisses, see you soon, and much love, something. All right, this is your relative here. Okay, I know you called him buddy. That was okay, but again, I thought you should have had a more appropriate closing here. Okay, so overall it was good, but it was that last bullet that was a little weak. So let's see here. You've got your bonus task here, so let's take a look at this. Dear Sir, Madam, capitalize these, okay? I regret to inform you about my negative experience in your restaurant last night. All right, this is a little awkward. I regret to inform you about. It would usually we say, I regret to inform you that you have been terminated. I regret to inform you that I don't know, the ship has sunk. I mean, something like that. So it's usually with a that clause. So the about is a little strange here, and it doesn't really feel very appropriate here. Although regret to inform you is formal, so you were right in using it in a formal letter, but here it just felt a little awkward. So better, in my opinion, would have been I am writing to inform you about my negative experience in your restaurant last night. More appropriate in this context. My wife and I reserved a table for 10 at 7 p.m. on the open terrace for our anniversary. We had arrived 5 minutes before the appointed time, but to our astonishment, the table was not ready. The hostess stated that due to peak hours, staff were not able to prepare our table and we had been asked to wait. Okay. My other concern is the lack of a gluten-free menu. When we were making a reservation over the phone, the manager informed us that all of the gluten-free dishes are available. We don't start sentences in formal letters with but. So just get rid of it and start. In fact, there were only bread with an A and a couple of desserts. You wrote dessert, but the word for what we eat after dinner has a double S, so it's desserts. Due to all of these problems, I would like a full refund. Our order number is this. Please transfer the funds into the account supplied. Yours faithfully. Okay, that's fine. So this was good. I actually liked pretty much all of it, actually. It was well done. Just a couple of those little things like this here in the beginning, little grammatical things like this. You missed a couple of articles, as I mentioned, but other than that, I think grammatically you did well. So in general, Kirill, it's a good set. I thought you've done very, very well with this. So, Kirill, you're doing great, okay? You're doing very, very well. I do want to look at your, I want to look through your emails because I'm not actually sure where you are with your corrections. I do want to check to see if we have more coming from you. So from what I could see, this is your last set with us. I think you're writing very well. I think you're doing a great job. Are there little issues with both your task 1 and your task 2? There are little issues, but they're not, very serious. So essentially, you've got a couple of options now to continue with us. You could sign up for more essay corrections, which would be great. We can continue giving you feedback, and you could continue practicing your writing and continuing to improve because, writing is something that you need to continue with. And quite frankly, I always believe right up to your exam because you don't want to lose any of those skills or any of that progress you've made. So that's one option. So I encourage you to look at that. Of course, you can just review the essays that you've done for us so far and just study those. But I would like to see you continuing with some more essays. We can help you with more suggestions, more feedback, more advice in order to improve. So see what works for you best, and I look forward to hearing from you. Good luck.